everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this little penguin with the knapsack. Here are two little penguins with different color. One is in gray with a little hat, and the other is in pink with a little bow. The yarn we're gonna use is the same. It's a single strand of cotton yarn. Let me show you. This cotton yarn is more suitable for beginners. It won't become loose and split. Here I want to tell you the reason why these penguins are in different sizes. It is because the crochet hooks we use are different. This big one is a 3.5mm hook. And the small one is a 2.5mm hook. So, the different types of crochet hook we use, the different size of the final product will be. Also, the difference of the strength we pull will also affect the size of the product. This bigger penguin is crocheted by the larger crochet hook. When decreasing the stitches, it tends to get small holes between stitches. For the smaller penguin, it is tighter. So whether to work the product tighter or looser is up to your choice. The yarn we use can be suitably matched for the crochet hooks between 2.5 and 3.5mm. Next, I'm gonna show you how to crochet this blue penguin's body. The hook I use is at 3mm. Okay, let me show you how to crochet the other penguin in different color. The crochet method of the penguin's body is the same as the former one. Here we go. The crochet hook I use is this one at 3.0mm. Let's use the gray yarn to crochet this dark gray penguin. Here we go. We're going to start with the magic ring. I've taught you the crochet basics. Wrap the working yarn like this, loop the yarn around, and hold on the intersection. A loop is formed. Insert the hook through the loop and pull the working yarn back through the loop. Make a standing chain stitch. It's not counted as a stitch. This is the step of magic ring. Next, we're gonna work 5 single crochets around the loop. Insert the hook into this loop, bring the working yarn out. Then pull the yarn through the 2 loops and a single crochet is over. It is like a V-braid. This one V-braid is the form of a single crochet. Next, let's do the second stitch. Keep crocheting the yarn through this loop. Bring the working yarn out and pull the yarn through the 2 loops. The second single crochet is over. We've done 2 stitches and there are 3 stitches left. In brief, we need to start with magic ring and then make 5 single crochets. Okay, as you can see, we've done 5 single crochets here. Then, hold the shorter yarn tail to pull it tight. As you can see, 1 round is formed. Let's turn the hook around and start the second round. As for the second round, we need to make a slip stitch through the V-braid. Slip stitch. We need to go through this V-braid. Going through this V-braid is a stitch. If we're gonna do an invisible slip stitch, we can crochet in half a stitch. Half a stitch, and then bring the working yarn out. Crochet the working yarn directly through the loop and finish a slip stitch. Then we make a standing chain stitch. It is not counted as a stitch. We can practice the yarn tail underneath for a couple of stitches. Next, the second round needs to finish 5 increases of single crochet. Increase of single crochet means crochet 2 single crochets in the same one stitch. The first single crochet is over, and the second stitches is over. As you can see, when I crochet increase, I did not go through all of the V-braids. I go through the outer half of the stitch instead. It's called an invisible increase. Let's crochet the outer half of the stitch. Press the yarn underneath the V-braid, press the yarn tail and underneath. The working yarn out, pull it out all at once, And then let's make the second stitch. We need to hook the working yarn through the whole V-braid. Bring the working yarn and pull it out. One stitch is over. The completion of 2 single crochets is called a single crochet increase. Next, we're gonna complete the third single crochet increase. Let's finish an invisible crochet in the outer half stitch and pull the working yarn out. One stitch needs to finish 2 single crochets. When we've done 5 times of single crochet increase, we actually have finished 10 single crochets. This round needs 10 single crochets. As you can see, there are 10 V-braids on it. Okay, we have this first stitch here. If you don't know where to start the first stitch, you can use this stitch marker to mark the position. We're gonna make a single crochet in the third round, then a single crochet increase. Repeat this group 5 times. Let's start with an invisible stitch. Crochet a standing chain stitch. It is not counted as a stitch. As for the first stitch, crochet a single crochet. Pull the yarn through 2 loops directly through this V-braid. Bring the working yarn and pull it out. 1 single crochet is finished. 1 single crochet for 1 stitch. We can hide this yarn tail here, it doesn't matter if we don't cut it. Here we can use a stitch marker to position the first stitch. We're gonna make a single crochet increase in second stitch. Once, twice, the 2 stitches are over. The third stitch follows the same pattern. Let's make a single crochet. 1 increase in the 4th stitch. One single crochet in the 5th stitch. 1 increase in the 6th stitch. That is the pattern of the round S. 1 single crochet plus 1 increase. Repeat it 5 times in total. Okay, we've completed the third round. Next, let's crochet the 4th round. It needs 2 single crochets and 1 increase. Please follow the above pattern. But in order to make the penguin look more round, we need to stagger the increase. When we start on the 2nd row, our pattern is 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet increase, and 1 single crochet. That's a group. In other words, we also need to crochet 2 single crochets and 1 single crochet increase. But we stagger the 2 single crochets and crochet 1 increase between them. In this way, we can make the penguin's hat rounder. Then, let's make an invisible stitch. Crochet a standing chain stitch. It is not counted as a stitch. Our first stitch needs to go through the V-braid. 1 single crochet. Use the stitch marker to mark the position. 1 single crochet increase. 1 single crochet. In other words, we've done 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet increase, and 1 single crochet. Totally 4 stitches. This is a group. These 4 crochets take up 3 stitches. We're going to repeat this pattern for 4 times. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet increase, 1 single crochet as a group. We'll then complete the next 3 sets. Good. The 4th round is over. Pattern is 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet increase, and 1 single crochet. We need to do a total of 5 times. Now, let's crochet the 5th round. We'll start with the slip stitch by 3 single crochets and 1 increase. That means we have to crochet a single stitch through the first stitch. Use the stitch marker to mark the position. Then we need to crochet 2 single crochets, 3 single crochets, and 1 single crochet increase. Note that we need to insert a crochet hook from the same hole. The above steps compose a group. Single crochets, 1 single crochet increase. In brief, a group includes 5 stitches and 5 groups need to be done. So, this round requires 25 stitches in total. This round needs to crochet 25 stitches, 3 single crochets, and 1 single crochet increase. 3 single crochets plus 1 single crochet increase. Okay, we've got 25 stitches at the end of this round. Next, let's start our 6th round. We're going to change colors. Let's use gray and white yarn. Yarn is used for the eyes here. Let's start with 8 single crochets in gray. Then let's make an invisible stitch. Make a standing chain stitch doesn't count stitches. Go through this first hole and insert the crochet hook in. Let's crochet 8 single crochets. 1, 2. The stitch marker to mark the position. If you're familiar with it, you can omit this step. You can locate the position via counting stitches. Okay, look, we've done 8 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember when we change yarn, do not bring this yarn out. To change the yarn here, bring the yarn, bring the yarn in other color. Here to change the white color, let's bring the white yarn. Next, let's crochet 2 single stitches with the white yarn. We need to press gray and white yarn tail underneath. Then bring the white yarn out by directly crocheting the working yarn through 2 loops at a time. Repeat. Here needs to crochet 2 single crochet. Then we change to the gray yarn. Have to change to the gray yarn at the end of the second stitch. Crochet 2 single stitches with the gray yarn. During the first stitch, the white yarn tail is still pressed underneath. When finished the second stitch, we need to change to white yarn again. Next, we need to crochet 2 single stitches in white, pressing the gray yarn underneath. 1, 2. Okay, let's change to gray. Okay, now you can see the back. So, we don't need to knot the yarn when we change the yarn color. And it won't come off. It won't come out of the stitch after we tuck it via several more stitches. Next, let's use the gray yarn. Leave this yarn tail alone. We can hide it inside later. We have to crochet 11 single crochets in gray. Okay, 11 single crochets are over. The 6th round is done. Let's start the 7th round. Let's take the stitch marker off and crochet 7 single crochets in gray. Let's start with an invisible stitch. Make a standing stitch. And crochet the first stitch through 2 V-braids. Now let's crochet 7 single crochets. 1, 2. Let's put on the stitch marker again. On the 7th stitch, bring the yarn out. Pull this white yarn. You don't need to cut it. Bring this white yarn out and pull the white yarn to make the stitches look more organized. Put the yarn inside and make it level with the inside of the penguin. We need to hide this yarn inside, so do not leave the yarn so long. Otherwise, it won't look good. Next, we're going to press this yarn underneath. Press the gray yarn underneath as well. Both the white and the gray should be pressed underneath. Next, crochet 3 single crochets with white yarn. 1 stitch. We don't need to cut the yarn if we press it underneath. But if it feels troublesome to press the yarn, you can cut it first and restart. When we finish 3 single stitches, remember to change the yarn color to gray. At the end of the 3rd stitch, we need to bring the gray working yarn out. Crochet 2 single stitches. 1, 2. Then change to the white yarn. Crochet 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Then we change to dark gray yarn and crochet 10 single crochets. This round is finished. Look at the back. The yarn tails are all tucked underneath, so they won't come out. In this way, we don't have to break off the yarn. Next, let's crochet 10 single crochets in dark gray yarn. Okay, after finishing the 10 single crochets, the 7th round is finished. Let's move on to the 8th round. Take off the stitch marker. Let's make an invisible stitch followed by a standing chain stitch. Then let's crochet 7 single crochets in dark gray yarn. If you can see the stitch we're cast on, you can go on your work without making marker. If you cannot, you can put this marker on. Okay, after we finish the 7th single crochet, let's change to the white yarn and continue the 8th single crochet. The white yarn is also pressed underneath. Pull it slightly and press it underneath. And press the gray yarn underneath as well. Let's keep crocheting. We need to crochet 8 single crochets in white yarn. Okay, next, we need to change the dark gray yarn. And crochet 10 single crochets. For the next round, we don't need the white yarn. We can now press this remaining white yarn underneath with a couple of stitches, and then we can cut the yarn. I finished 7 stitches here, almost enough. It won't come off easily. We can see the white yarn on the back. Go on and finish the rest of the stitches. Okay, that's the end of this round. We can now cut the white yarn. In the next round, we need to change the yarn's color to the main body's color. The practice of the last stitch is the same as how we did just now. For this one, we use beige colored yarn to crochet the pink penguin's main body. Now, let's crochet a light blue one. Use light blue yarn to crochet the blue penguin's main body. Note that in the last stitch, do not bring out the gray yarn and stuff it back instead. And when change the yarn in the last stitch, we need to bring the light blue yarn out and change the yarn's color. Remove the marker. In this round, we need to crochet 7 single crochets, 1 increase, twice, followed by 7 single crochets. There are 27 stitches in total. Let's make an invisible stitch. Then a standing chain stitch first. Okay, then we work 7 single crochets. Press this yarn underneath. Okay, after 7 single crochets, we don't need to use the dark gray yarn anymore, so we can break off the yarn. 7 stitches are done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches. Then, when we make an invisible increase, we should crochet the outer half of the stitch first, and then we hook over the entire stitch. 1 more stitch. That means 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Go on to crochet 7 single crochets. Okay, 7 stitches are done. Then crochet an invisible increase. Crochet hook through this outer half stitch, 1 stitch, and we hook a full stitch, followed by 1 increase. Then we crochet 9 single crochets. Okay, this round is done. In the next round, we need to crochet 8 single crochets, 1 increase for 3 times. But in order to realize stagger stitch, we should start with 4 single crochets. After that, we need to crochet an increase. Why don't we crochet the increase after the 8 stitches? Because of that, every time we increase, it will be in the same place. Then the penguin's body won't be very round, so we have to stagger the stitches. Now, we should make 4 single crochets plus 1 increase, and later we have to make another 8 crochets plus 1 increase. Okay, 8 stitches over. Now we make an invisible increase. Crochet 1 increase. And crochet 8 single crochets. Alright, then 8 stitches are done. Let's crochet an increase. Then we need to crochet 4 more stitches. That is, we broke up 8 stitches into 4 stitches and 1 increase, and then 4 more stitches in the split. Split it up. We can achieve the staggered increase to make the penguin's body rounder. In the next round, we need to hook 9 single crochets and 1 increase. Hook 9 single crochets and 1 increase. 3 times. Nine stitches are done, then we crochet 1 increase. And go on to hook 9 single crochets. And the third time, we need to crochet 9 single crochets and an increase. Okay, then the last increase, and that's the end of this round. Next, let's crochet the 12th round. 10 single crochet and 1 increase. Stagger the increase. In other words, we need to start with 5 single crochets. And an increase. Then we crochet 10 single crochets. Ten single crochets, 1 increase. Then we crochet 10 single crochets. One increase. Finally, we crochet 5 single crochets. That's the end of this round. Next, let's hook the 13th round. We're going to crochet 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, then 33 single crochets. Okay, 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. We hook an invisible decrease, hook the outer half of the stitch, then 33 single crochets. This round is over. Okay, let's crochet the last single crochet, and this round is done. As for the next 13th round, let's crochet 8 single crochets first. Okay, let's crochet. Then 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, and repeat for 3 times. For the decrease, we'll crochet the outer half of the stitch. 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. 1 single crochet, and 1 decrease. Okay, after 3 times, let's go on to crochet 18 single crochets. And this is the end of this round. Next, the 15th round. 1 decrease. Let's start with the standing chain stitch. Then 24 single stitches. Crochet a decrease and 3 decreases. And that's the end of this round. Let's crochet 24 single crochets. Take a look, there is 6 stitches left, 3 decreases. Okay, after we've finished the 24 single crochets, we should go on to crochet 3 decreases. Okay, when we're done, we put on the safety eyes. The safety eyes can be put after the step. Safety eyes come with an eye and a backing. If the safety eyes are the straight pin or flat sticker type, we can do this later. Now let's start the 16th round. Pull it and make a standing chain stitch, not a stitch. Two single crochets and 1 decrease. Then we crochet 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, 4 times in total. Single crochets, 1 decrease. Continue in this pattern for 3 times. And finally, 2 more single crochets, 1 decrease. This round is over. Next, let's start the 17th round. Start with the single crochet followed by 1 decrease, repeating the step for 7 times, and finally crochet 1 single crochet. That means there are 15 stitches. Let's start with 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, 7 times. Repeat 7 times. Okay, we're finished. Let's crochet the last single crochet. This round is over. After completing this round, we can leave the yarn tail and start stuffing fiber fill. If we go on, this hole is going to be very small, so we can start stuffing the penguin. It looks flat, but it can become very puffy after stuffing. Stuff it tightly. The stuff we use is specially used for doll stuffing. Stuff it tightly. In this way, we can prevent it from being deformed, so that it can keep shape for a long time. Okay, once the penguin's shape is out, we can go on to the next 18th round. 1 single crochet, 7 decreases. There are 8 stitches in total. One single crochet, then we crochet 7 decreases. Okay, this round is finished. There is still a little hole here. We can stuff more solidly. And finally, we need to hook 4 decreased stitches to close. Okay, and we have to pull the working yarn out and cut it off. Leave the yarn with certain length, break the remaining part, and draw the yarn out. Oh, it's a little sharp here. That's okay. We'll use stitch needle to sew this yarn tail inside. Okay, we need to use scissors to slightly push the yarn tail inward and flatten it. We need to sew this part later. Pull it in a little bit. Okay, let's cut the surplus yarn. Hiding this yarn tail. Okay, the body of the penguin is done. Next, we're going to crochet the penguin's parts. This one, look at this. It's got 2 little legs, a tail, and these 2 wings. And a little knapsack, a little mouth, and a little hat. The blue one also has a little hat. And of course, I will show you the little bow too. Now, we're gonna use this dark gray yarn to crochet the little foot. Let's start. 6 single crochet in magic ring. Loop the yarn around and hold on the intersection. Cast on, make a standing chain stitch, not counted as a stitch. Then crochet 6 single crochet. and pull them tight. Okay, the next pattern is crochet 1 slip stitch and then 3 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3. Repeat 3 times. Let's go to the second stitch. Crochet 1 slip stitch and 3 chain stitches, then 1 slip stitch again. Crochet the slip stitch after the 3rd chain stitch is finished. Remember to make the slip stitch after the 3rd chain stitch. Crochet again. Crochet 3 chain stitches, 1, 2, 3. Finally, let's crochet the slip stitch twice. 1, 2. That's the front 3 little toes of the penguin's foot. We have to crochet another 2 chain stitches, then 1 more slip stitch. Another little toe is done. Okay, let's cut the yarn. We need to crochet 2 little feet. Leave the yarn line for the later stitch. As for the surplus yarn tail, which is left after the cast on, we can cut it. We're going to cut the yarn tail of the 2 feet respectively. 2 little feet is over. Next, we're going to crochet the tail with the dark gray yarn. Let's begin. Start with 4 single crochets in a magic ring. Next, pull it tight. Then the second round. 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat again. Draw through. Look here, going through 2 chain stitches. Press this yarn tail. Crochet 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, press this yarn down. Okay, let's do it again. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet increase. Okay, that's a total of 6 stitches for the second round. And then we insert this hook to this first stitch. Pull the working yarn out and break the yarn. We can leave the yarn with certain length for the sew later. As for the tail, we can fill it with some stuff in or not. You can put a little, put some stuff in to make the tail puffy. Good, a lovely little tail. And then we crochet this little wing. We can choose light blue color as the wing's color, the same as the color of the main body. When we crochet the wings, we should start with 5 chain stitches. The standing chain stitches doesn't count as a stitch. 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we will back up to the 3rd stitch and crochet a half double crochet. This is the first backward stitch, the second, the 3rd. In the 3rd backward stitch, we're going to insert the hook and complete a half double crochet. Wrap the yarn around when do the half double crochet, and then insert the hook to the position of the 3rd back stitch. Hook a half double crochet and bring the yarn out all at once. Okay, we have 2 more loops. Let's hook 2 double crochets. The yarn out and insert the hook. Crochet the double crochet twice. 1, 2, like this. Crochet a double crochet again. Then we need to crochet a chain stitch. Leave the yarn with a certain length and then cut off the left part. It's for the convenience of the later sewing. Okay, 1 wing is done. We need to make 2, the other wing is done in the same way. Next, let's crochet the penguin's mouth. We're gonna use the yellow yarn. Mouth. We're gonna start with 3 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3 chain stitches, and then straight back to the second one. 2 single crochets are fine. 1, 2. Done. Then let's crochet the hat and the knapsack. Let's start with the knapsack. The knapsack is also start with the chain stitch. 4 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then counting backwards 2 stitches and crochet 2 single crochets. Crochet 1 more, and finally here we crochet 3 single crochets in the same stitch. In other words, turn the hat over here. We need to hook 3 single crochets in 1 stitch. And then on the other side of this V-bar stitch, crochet 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet increase. For this round, there are 8 stitches. There's 1 increase left. Okay, we've finished 8 stitches. Let's hook the third round. 8 single crochets without increase or decrease. You can hide the yarn or cut it off. Okay, 8 single crochets are done in the third round. The fourth round is 1 single crochet, 1 increase, and then 6 single crochets. There are 9 stitches in total. 1 single crochet, 1 increase, and then 6 single crochets. Okay, after these 6 stitches, let's start the fifth round. The part of the cover. We should start with a slip stitch. Then 1 single crochet and 1 chain crochet. In the next stitch, we crochet 1 double crochet increase. That means 2 double crochet in the same stitch. Then crochet 1 chain stitch and 1 single crochet. At last, crochet 1 slip stitch. Here, we don't need to cut the yarn, we can keep the yarn instead. Next, continue to crochet the knapsack straps. We need to try it out and see how long it needs to be. We probably need to start with 30 chain stitches or so. I didn't write down a fixed number of stitches for the chain stitch because the difference of the hand strength may result in different actual length. So you need to measure the length and find out how many stitches you need. I need to make about 5 more stitches because the looseness of the knitting is different. The length of the chain stitch here is also different. For me, I crocheted 35 chain stitches. I think that's enough. It's about the right length. Next, lead the yarn with certain length and break the yarn. The certain length is left for sewing later. Okay, the knapsack is done. Next, let's crochet the hat. Use this yellow yarn. Cast on in a magic ring with 6 single crochets. Pull it tight, and then our second round is 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeating 3 times. Pull it over first. Crochet a standing chain stitch, hide the yarn inside. 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 single crochet, and 1 increase. Okay, that's the end of the round. There are 9 stitches. As for the third round, we need to crochet back loops only below with 9 single crochets. Just hook the stitches that are a little bit further away from us. That's back loops only. No increase, no decrease. We have to crochet 9 single crochets. The third round is over. Look at the back loops for crochet. Here will be a yarn out. Next, let's hook the fourth round. Let's hook a slip stitch. We need to crochet the front loops only FLL with 9 half double crochet increase. Need to wrap it when crochet the half double crochet. Front loops only. As for increase, it means crochet 2 half double crochet in the same stitch. All stitches are half double crochet. Front loops only do not have to finish the full stitch. Altogether 9 times. We will knit the round with 18 stitches. Okay, the fourth round is over. Next, the fifth round. Draw through and crochet 18 slip stitches. That's the end of the round. Okay, finally, leave a long yarn and then cut up the left part. The hat is finished. Finally, let's crochet the bow. I will show you how to do this. Let's start the stitch. Please notice the crochet method here. Magic ring cast on, 2 chain stitches, 2 double crochets, 2 chain stitches, 1 slip stitch in the magic ring. In the other side of the bow, we took 2 chain stitches, 2 double crochets. All stitches are inserting hook in the circle. Then hook 2 chain stitches, 1 slip stitch. Okay, over. Cut the yarn. Pull it out. Tighten the cast-on stitches. Once pulled in tight, wrap the long yarn around the center of stitches a few loops. Make a bow. Please have a look. After wrapping it around a few loops, tie a knot with the cast-on yarn. Knot it again to secure it. Leave the yarn with 1/3 length. Later, just sew it on a penguin's hat. Now the parts are complete. 1 tail, 2 feet, 2 wings, 1 hat, 1 bow, 1 knapsack, 1 mouth. Now the parts are prepared. We're gonna to position it on top of the penguin with the locator pin. Look at the locator pin. Here, we're gonna attach the wings first. Wings, look, in this row. It's in the first blue row. It's 1 stitch away from the eye, that means beside this blue side. We have to skip 1 stitch. Let's start from this stitch, this position. We need to use a locator pin to fix it, to avoid the crook during our sewing. Use 2 locator pins to fix it, and the other side needs to be fixed as well. Skip 1 stitch in this row. Let's see if it's symmetrical. If it's not symmetrical, you can adjust it a little bit. We should always confirm the position first before we start sewing. It seems that the 2 wings are still symmetrical. Next, look at the feet. The feet are placed at the bottom of the body. When you look at it from the front, it's going to show a little bit. Good. Fix this foot via the locator pin. And the other foot also needs to be fixed in the same way. See how symmetrical the 2 sides are after we fix it. Let's see if the 2 feet are symmetrical from the front. If it's symmetrical, fix them via locator pin properly. Next, let's sew the tail. We can sew it in this place where we start the sewing. Look at the center of the penguin's back. A little closer to the feet. Fix it. Once pin the tail in place, the penguin is able to stand up. Look, it can stand. Sew the tail in the middle of this back. For the hat, just put it on the side. Now let's start sewing. Sew the wings first. Insert the yarn needle through the bottom of the yarn and then through the wing. When assemble the parts of the penguin, It is better to sew the parts rather than glue them on. Sewing can also secure these parts better. After the wings are sewn, remove this locator pin. After sewing firmly, knot it with the yarn where we start the sewing. Then, we bring it out from the same place. Leave the yarn with certain length. Sew this yarn tail through as well. Bring it out in this way. The knots in. Pull the yarn in this place. Pull it tight. Cut the surplus yarn. We can tuck the yarn tail inside. Okay, this wing is completed. Very secure. Next, let's sew the second wing in the same way. If you want to sew it secure, you can have 2 more stitches. Okay, and finally bring out here. Knot it and remove the locator pin. Pull it tight. Adjust the position. Okay, cut the yarn. Next, let's sew the little feet. The sew of the 2 wings is finished. Let's sew the little feet. From the front, you can see the penguin's feet. The advantage of using a locator pin is that it can avoid crooking during your sewing. Sew the back part of the foot. Leave the front half on. After sewing, remove the locator pin. Sew on the back part. We'll keep the front part of the foot. Okay, and finally secure the knot. Insert the needle through the tail. Let's go on to sew the penguin's tail. Let's begin. Okay, remove the locator pin. Tie a knot with the yarn where we start the sewing. Let's tuck the yarn inside. Remember to leave the yarn with certain lengths before cut the yarn. In this way, it won't come off easily. Okay, let's cut the surplus yarn. And as for this yarn, tuck it inside a little bit. Look, the penguin is able to stand now. Next, sew the hat. Put the hat on the side of the hat. This position. Fix it with the locator pin. Next, use a sewing needle. Put some stuffing into the inside of the hat to make it more three-dimensional. Sew 2 stitches first. Then put some stuff in. Okay, remove the locator pin. Put a little stuff in to make it more three-dimensional. We can use a scissor to push the stuffing inward. After the stuffing, let's sew the opening. Hold it. And tie a knot with the yarn where we start the sewing. Then cut the yarn. The hat is done. Look at the hat. It's over. Next, let's sew the mouth. Look at this place. This is the place where we change the yarn's color. The last row of white is right here. We can use a locator pin to position it and make 2 stitches. Two stitches in the center of this place. Secure it. Insert the needle and sew through. Okay, knot the yarn with the yarn where we start the sewing. Then tuck the yarn tail. Pull it out. Adjust the mouth. Cut the surplus yarn. Then, let's sew the knapsack. Sew the back cover first. If the bag is carried in this side, there's a little cover here. Fold it over and sew it later. Let's press it here. Put it on its back. Watch the strap. Don't twist it. It's flat. Hold it down, then insert the needle through this end of the bag. The strap is flat. Let's wrap it around and sew a stitch. Then we sew the cover. Put the yarn underneath the cover and sew the cover tightly. After secure the cover, after that, let's cross the yarn again. And then over here, over this side. Tie a knot. It's better to sew this cover on. Pull the yarn around and knot it. Tuck the yarn inside. Okay, let's cut the yarn. The knapsack sewn on. Next, we decorate it with safety eyes and blush. For the safety eyes, I'm going to use the straight pin one. It will be more solid. If it's flat, it will come out easily. Choose the right size for the eyes. Put them in the second row under the white color. Set them here, a little bit in the middle of the side. Press down like this. Fix it with glue. Remove it. And apply a little bit of glue in this area. This glue dries fast, so we need to put it on there, hold it down for a moment. Remove this side as well. Apply glue. Hold it on fast, because this glue dries quickly. We need to press this eye on to make it fixed. And then put some blush on it. Both eyes are fixed. It's pretty solid. Then a little bit of blush on the lower part of the eyes. Brush back and forth a few times. Ding ding! Our penguin is done! There are 3 colors of penguins in different sizes. As I mentioned, we're using the same yarn for all 3 penguins, but crochet hooks we use are different. The red one, we use a 2.5mm crochet hook. The blue one uses a 3.0mm crochet hook. The gray one uses a 3.5mm crochet hook. So the sizes are different. Okay, thanks for your hard work. Bye!